Hello everyone, I am at the CIRP General Assembly in Stockholm. I met with a very important person called Ömer Ganiyusufoglu. We met around 11 years ago
Yes.
in another General Assembly in France, in Nantes. And since then we have always been in contact and we see each other around 2 times a year at least.
Yes, at least. Yes.
Yeah, and I wanted to take the opportunity to record a chat with you today so that our audience knows you better after this interview. Maybe we can start with the initial introduction. Maybe you can briefly introduce yourself.
Okay. Yeah, Adam, thank you very much for giving me the chance. As you said, we know each other since more than 10 years. I'm glad to meet you because I appreciate very much your appreciation, your engagement. I appreciate very much your eagerness, and I also appreciate your courage to establish your own company, to go your own way, and to try new things. This is what we need for the future, initiatives of young people. So far, I'm glad to meet you. Yeah, coming back to me, my major is machine tools. For making clear what are machine tools are called mother machines. Everything what is not coming from nature needs a machine tools in its value chain, and basically at the beginning. What is coming from nature? We are coming from nature. Animals are coming from nature, and trees and the earth coming from nature. For everything else, you see, you touch, you use, you need a machine tools. And I'm grown up even when I was a child with machine tools. So, and I studied machine tools at Berlin University, Technical University. I'm graduated on machine tools, automation of machine tools. I worked 5 years for a top German company, so this attracted the attention of Japanese. I was hired then by the company Yamazaki Matsuzak, which is today one of the top 3 companies of the world, a private-owned company. I was there 16 years, managing director, with very challenging job. So this was a beautiful time. We created new revolutionary machines. And from Japanese, I learned, I smelled that future will be China. Chinese were improving, and also Japanese were enhancing their activities in China. And one day I got an offer from China. So then I went to China. It was 2006. Meanwhile, I'm already 20 years in China. So, and in China, I worked for a Chinese-German joint venture, and after that, for 10 years, I worked for the biggest state-owned company of China in machine tools, and also world's biggest company. And my role was there to consult the chairman of the company for globalization, for strategic purposes. So this was also a very interesting time. And since 5 years, I'm living in the city of Qingdao, which is a beautiful coastal city. My role is industrial development consultant of the city. And in the meantime, I got the highest award of Chinese government for a foreigner, which is called Friendship Award. And I have several professor assignments in Chinese universities. I'm member of German Academy for Science and Engineering, and also I'm corporate member of CIRP.
Yeah, and so, you are not only a corporate member, you were a chair of the corporate members group in CIRP.
Yeah. When I joined CIRP as corporate member, the group of corporate members, which is a big group basically, the number of corporate members we saw today it's higher than the number of fellows at CIRP. So corporate members were not considered as a power among obedient CIRP. So with my industrial experience and with my close linkage to academy, I gave a new identity to CIRP, to CIMAC. I was elected, proposed and elected as chairman, and I'm happy to realize that some seeds I put that time we can harvest today. Yeah, for example, sustainability. For example, global view of things. Also, I dealt with productivity in industry. Yeah, several issues which will be followed up today by next generations.
Yeah, when you say sustainability development goals, I remember as the chair of the CIMAC, you had requested the CRP members to think about their impact on sustainability development goals.
Yeah.
And that was a clear request from you as the chair of the CIMAC, and I remember people started to think about that. I remember also Dr. Mori made a presentation about the sustainability development goals. He was very humble. I remember he said, "I'm only the president of the DMG Mori. I'm not very important." He said, "These are coming from the United Nations. This is like a request from the United Nations. These are the targets." So then we learned about the importance of those as the CRP community, also myself. And then since then we are working on that, on that goals. But it's a big target, so it's we have a lot of years until achieving those targets. But we are working on this.
We have to work because the population in the world is growing and growing. The living standards are growing and growing. And as of this year, the consumption, the use of resources in the world in August is already 1.4 times as we have available resources. So it means we are living about the possibilities of the world. And by the way, I want to add one thing. After I raised this sustainability as an important topic, the constitution of CIRP has been changed. And into the constitution of CIRP, the commitment of CIRP to sustainability has been included.
Well, it goes to the rule book.
Rule book, yes. The rule book of CIRP has been changed.
And also when I think about you, because this is one of the examples, you see something coming and then you inform your colleagues or your community about the things that are coming in advance. So you have an eye on the future. And I know that you did a presentation in the CIMAC session this week.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that presentation, maybe a few highlights from that presentation?
Yeah, thank you for this point. We have to admit we are witnessing a very, very difficult and sad time. Wherever you look, there is a problem. Sometimes you cannot understand how people can that much rude and let me say crazy. But when watching the political landscape, we don't see what is happening in the industry. And we saw today also at the statistics, China with a very clear strategy is coming, improving things, working hard, and they are already very active globally in terms of e-mobility. They are advanced, and also in machinery, what is my focus and major. They are improving a lot. And I delivered a speech. I said, the new technological world order at the horizon. We are talking today about a new political world order, which is about to be formed surely in future, but also from industrial point of view, technical point of view, a new world order is happening, and this will be dominated by the Chinese. How can I say this with so much sureness? I'm living already in 20 years in China, as I said. In my speech, I reflect my 20 years. How was the technological landscape in China in terms of machines, in terms of industry, when I came to China 2006? What happened within 20 years, and where are Chinese today?
Yeah.
I report things which I witnessed myself. I don't tell things which I heard from other people or I read in newspapers.
Yeah.
I deliver first-hand information, and it's very important that industry, entrepreneurs, also academicians, young researchers know this. And there is only one solution for the future, for a balanced world, but also for a peaceful world. This is cooperation, this is communication. And CIRP, we could witness this week, delivers the best platform for communication and cooperation.
Yeah, I think there was about 38 companies, sorry, not companies, countries presented,
Yes.
represented in the CIRP General Assembly this week. And I also remembered the keynote presentation from the Vice President of Scania.
Yeah,
He presented 3 scenarios,
yeah, yeah.
like very like siloed world, and then more collaborative world, and then there was another scenario I don't remember now, but they didn't know which one will happen, so they are preparing themselves for each scenario.
Yes.
And I think everyone needs to do that, because it's really difficult to know what world will look like in 5-10 years time. But yeah, I think the best thing that I can hope is the more collaboration.
And collaboration starts with communication. And we witness here 38 nations. When we talk with each other, we don't think from where he is coming, or which religion, which ethnics, which political country. We are talking human to human. We are talking about science. We are talking about techniques, but we are talking also about other things, because after work having done, we go together for eating, for drinking. We are all equal there, and this is the best platform, best basis for a better future in the world.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, now we are nearly finishing the General Assembly. This is the last day.
Yes.
I guess you will go back to China from
First
here.
to Germany, to my German home, and then to China. And the last months of a year, China is especially very busy. Maybe nobody can imagine. In a company there are KPIs. In China also official institutions, governments, local government, universities, companies, they all have KPIs, and against the end of the year they hurry up for achieving their KPIs.
Wow. Annual KPIs.
Annual KPIs.
It's not just like the manifestos that they will do in like 5 years time. It's every year.
Every year.
Okay. Very nice.
And part of the KPIs is also maintaining international cooperations and communications. And in that sense, I received so many invitations as a foreigner, a foreign academician with industrial background, so that it's. I'm very busy, but I enjoy it. I'm very active.
Okay. One more question before we close.
Please.
Productive Machines will be exhibiting in EMO Hanover.
Yes.
So we are very proud of that. So we'll have a stand of our own stand
Yeah.
to demonstrate the latest developments, latest case studies that we have done. In fact, one of the latest case studies is about reshoring, because we see the trend of reshoring.
Yeah.
UK companies are generally have a disadvantage, usually have a disadvantage about the cost compared to the Far East
Yeah.
manufacturers. But some manufacturers in the UK started using productive machines, SenseNC software, and they were able to be competitive against the Far East manufacturers now. So the technological advancements can enable manufacturers to reshore manufacturing back to UK. So we'll be shouting about those case studies in Hanover. Will you be there?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we are looking forward to showing you those results
Yeah.
firsthand.
I look forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See you in Hanover.
Okay. See you in Hanover.
Yeah. Okay. All the best for you.
Thank you.